All right, let's jump in. I want you to imagine finding a message in a bottle. But instead of floating across the ocean, it's traveled through 40 years of time. Because that's pretty much what we're doing today. We are cracking open the very first newsletter from a group of young people in 1982 Singapore to see what story they wanted to tell.
And there it is, the very first words from the editor of Munitrum, which, by the way, means progress. It's such a simple, hopeful greeting, reaching out from the past. And it immediately makes you ask, right? Who were these young people, and what exactly were they trying to build?
So to really get what they were doing, we have to kind of step back and look at the world they were living in. This wasn't just some social club they were starting. For them, it felt like a vital necessity. They saw a gap forming in their community, and they decided they had to be the ones to build a bridge to cross it.
You see, to understand the Youth Wing, you've got to look at its parent organization. It didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was the newest branch of the Tamils Representative Council, the TRC, which had been a pillar of the community for decades. From running schools to adapting to a modernizing Singapore, the TRC was always evolving. And in 1982, that evolution meant one thing: creating a space for the next generation.
And this right here, this quote gets to the very heart of their mission. It spells it out perfectly. They saw young, Tamil-speaking Singaporeans on one side and all the established community organizations on the other. The Youth Wing was designed to be that connection, to be that bridge, to make sure the younger generation didn't get disconnected from its own cultural roots.
And here's the crucial part. It was about way more than just social events. For them, the Tamil language was the key. It was the very window they could look through to access and keep that connection to the richness of Indian culture. And they were worried, you know? They feared that if the language started to fade among the youth, that window might just close for good.
Okay, so you've got the problem, a potential cultural gap. And here was their solution: an organization built by young people specifically for young people. I love that. They weren't just waiting around for their elders to figure it out for them, they were taking ownership.
And their official objectives were crystal clear. But notice that first one, to serve Singapore. This wasn't just some inward-looking group. They saw their efforts as part of a bigger picture, part of their national identity. So the mission was twofold: strengthen their own community from the inside, and in doing so, contribute more to the nation as a whole.
And this just shows how accessible they made it. Membership wasn't just for fluent speakers. No, it was open to anyone who was interested, even people who felt like they might have forgotten the language. And the cost? Get this, 50 cents a month. That's it. This was all about inclusion, not exclusion. They wanted everyone to feel like they could be a part of it.
And their whole approach wasn't one size fits all. Not at all. Whether you were academic and wanted to help with tuition, or you were artistic and drawn to cultural shows, or maybe you just wanted to socialize and go on a picnic, there was a place for you. They totally understood that to get young people engaged, you have to meet them where their interests already are.
Now, it's one thing to have all these great ideas down on paper, but it's a completely different thing to actually bring them to life. So let's take a look at what the Youth Wing actually did. How did they turn all that ambition into reality in their very first year?
This number, it kind of says it all. 200. That is how many people showed up for the Youth Wing's very first public event. It was a tea party on September 5th, 1982. It was an immediate sign that, wow, they had really tapped into a genuine need in the community. People were ready for this.
And then, just a few months later, they held their first big seminar. And look at the intellectual weight here. I mean, they were not shying away from serious topics. And they brought in some heavy hitters to lead the discussions, including an ASEAN Literary Award winner to talk about Tamil literature. This just shows a deep, serious commitment to not just preserving their culture, but engaging with it at the absolute highest level.
You know, maybe the most powerful part of these old newsletters isn't just what the youth were doing, but the advice they were getting. The final pages are just filled with guidance from their elders, and it lays out this really profound vision for the future.
This is such a powerful statement from the TRC president, Mr. Kandasamy. He saw education as more than a personal goal. He saw it as the fundamental engine that would drive the entire community's social and economic progress. For him, the path to uplifting everyone ran directly through the classroom.
And the Youth Wing's own advisor, Dr. Veeramani, he really echoes this with a direct personal challenge. The message was unmistakable. Your personal success is not separate from your community's success. Excelling in your own life, in school, at work, is one of the most important things you can do. Your success helps build up the community. Your failure can weigh it down.
So as we close this newsletter from 1982, the story of the TRC Youth Wing leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? Their answer was a bridge built of language, education, and active participation. It really makes you think, in our own time, in our own communities, how are we building those bridges today? What are the windows that we need to keep open for the future?